On this computer. All right. Got all the tech done. You're looking super comfortable in your living room there with all of the art. We are good to go.
I'm kicking back and I didn't even have to take a shot of bourbon.
Oh, not this early in the morning, my friend.
Not this early.
I saw a t-shirt recently, it's weird, right? I saw a t-shirt recently that said something like, or some kind of a meme that talked about like this generation of young kids growing up is going to be the first generation where all of the parents were like, oh yeah, day drinking's just a thing. I don't know how anybody functions that way, but because I just want to go to sleep. Oh gosh, we are in some good times. I am so excited to speak with Dennise this morning. I am going to, as usual, start with a digital marketing tip of the week. And honestly, I've been singularly obsessed this week. And I might have even talked about it before, but I'm going to talk about it again because I am simply loving it. I just bought into Donald Miller's Business Made Simple course. So excited. I consume everything Donald Miller. And one of the things that I have been just like digging into the past few weeks with my clients is the simple automated welcome email series that is going to make your life so much easier. And today we're talking about efficiency, right? The things that you can do that will make it easier for you to be able to attract the right clients, to service your clients, to be able to nurture them. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because I've been creating a lot of resources and I want to offer them. Let's see, share screen. I'm going to go to desktop too. So this is the visual that I've been using. I'm a visual person and I have to give a shout out to my friend Nancy Jacoby, who is a visual learner. And so everything that we've been working on, she'll like sketch it out and say, am I understanding this right? And God bless you, Nancy. Like that was such an inspiration to create this. So if you're joining us on Facebook, I'll be checking the chat every now and again. So let us know that you're here. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know if you have any questions. If you're on Zoom, same thing, pop it in the chat. I'll be checking that off and on. So when you see my eyes going everywhere during this interview, that's what it is. I'm like doing all the things, listening intently. So what you need to do, I asked this question. Hold on, let's see if I still have it up. I asked this question in the Rise Above Noise Facebook group this week. If you had the opportunity to offer a service that could change a person's life, wouldn't you share it with everyone you know? And I just sent out my email this morning. It's exactly on this topic. I work with service-based professionals. They are changing lives. They are providing services and resources and tips and strategies that make other people's lives better, healthier, stronger, more manageable. So yes, of course you would. So what would you do to do that? And so where I'm going with this is you would want to let people know about it. And how do you let them know about it in this busy, loud, crazy, chaotic world that we're in, trying to be on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, Alignable, like all the things? It's like drinking out of a fire hose. So if there's a way that you can pull in your efforts to show up in your own integrity, and I don't mean integrity being a good person, I mean in wholeness, right? That you're integrous to yourself. If there's a way for you to do that, that feels generous, then this is where I'm going with this, right? So you want to attract your clients with resources that are going to help make their lives better. So this is kind of how it starts, right? You can see that it starts with a sign-up form so that they can get on your list. Nobody is waking up today and going, I need to be on more newsletter lists. Like, please give me more email. Nobody. So you've got to give them something. This is your opportunity to shine, be generous. Do not worry about, are you giving away too much, you guys? You can find everything on Google. So make a sign-up form so that they can receive something delicious from you. We call it a freebie, an irresistible free offer, a lead magnet, lots of names for it. They sign up, you give them something yummy, and now they're on your list. And what we're doing now is creating a 5-part in the groups that I'm running. Start another one on November 30th. I'm doing one every month, a 3-part nurture sequence workshop to get it done together. Or of course, it's what I help my clients with one-on-one. But you want to be generous, you want to be clear, you want to be consistent. I'm going to pop into the chats or send me a text or a message if you miss it someplace. I have this freebie for you, right? Like sign up for my list, get on my freebie. I will give you this booklet, which helps you figure out what kind of lead magnet you might want to make, how to make it super easy for yourself. You can work on bigger, more fancy ones later. But for now, like right now, where we are, just get something out there that's real, a checklist, a quiz, a resource, 10 things not to do. Then there's a little bit of information here and what to put into your welcome email series. So I will pop that link into the chat for the freebie. And please give me a call or text me, or, you guys can find me everywhere. I'm super easy to find. Let's have a talk about your email, maybe your email sequence. Maybe you want it done for you. Maybe you want to do it in a group setting. So that was good stuff. I was just telling Dennise, it's 19 degrees here outside, and I just lit my wood stove this morning because I'm like, oh, it's a good day for a wood stove. And honestly, I'm really warm. So I'm going to be drinking a lot of water during this conversation. So good to see you, Dennise.
Oh, Susan, thank you so much. I have been so excited about doing this with you. So thank you for inviting me.
You're so welcome. I'm going to do the thing, right? I'm going to read your official bio.
Okay.
And then I'm going to let you go into your flow. So CEO Dennise combines her years of experience in communications and workflow systems development to help her clients do what they do best, find more customers. She's a huge fan of positive psychology and good old hard work. That combination makes her a pragmatic optimist who is excited to help others make their digital mark in the world. Dennise, let's make sure that we talk about the name of your business. It's CTD Creative. You will find her pretty much everywhere. When I asked Dennise what is her superpower, she said that her superpower is putting together the pieces to figure out solutions or processes. And I would love to hear more about that, Dennise.
Well, okay. So yes, I have like one of those brains that you give me something, it's like the gears, you can almost hear them clicking to come up with so many different options to deal with the challenge, if you will, or the opportunity, whatever you want to call it. So I love that kind of stuff. It's like I get up in the morning and it's like, okay, what challenge do I have to solve today, whether for myself or working with a client or talking to a friend. I just love it. It's a creative process, it's like here's this thing in front of you, and what are the opportunities that you can take from that? And I just love doing that.
So tell me more. So in the work that you do, and we're talking about efficiency today, do you have some examples of that?
Well, sure. I'll start out here because I was, of course, preparing for our conversation, Susan. But you have to have a system, okay? A lot of systems. That's like the starting point, okay? And if you don't stop there, or start there rather, you're not going to figure out how to be the most efficient you can be. And I think the next part in understanding you need to have a system is that it has to be an efficient system. So let me give you an example. I know not everyone is the same as I am, okay? Everyone has different ways of doing things, but I would venture to guess to say a system of having 6-foot piles of papers around your desk is not an efficient system. It could be a system, but not so efficient if you're trying to find a document that is in pile 2 at the bottom, right? So it's important to have a system and come up with something that helps you get from point A to point whatever the most efficiently that you can, okay? And there are a number of tools you can use to help you do that. And for example, if you do go to my website and sign up for my e-newsletter, I have a little PDF with some tools on there to help you be efficient. And like you said, go to Google and search away, and there's tons of opportunities to do that. And I'm a big fan of the free just to test it out. Mm-hmm. But it's important, if you do start off with the free, that if it's working for you, you're only getting a little taste of it. But when you sign up and pay for it, or you delegate, or you bring someone else in to help you, then you get the full meal deal. And then just imagine what you can do with that tool.
Right. So that's so similar to what we were just talking about. So is that what you help people with, kind of creating those
Yes, I will
things?
work with clients on trying to come up with processes, trying to identify tools and look for opportunities. So, for example, I might talk with a client who, and almost all, if not all, my clients are service-based solopreneurs, and they need to calendar, right? They have to schedule visits, and there's a number of tools out there. But one of my faves right now is Calendly. I love it. And they don't have an affiliate program, because I'd be a millionaire by now, because I love it so much. But I started off free. I invested some time to understand the tool and how it makes my life easier, figured it out. And I said, okay, this is worth the investment. So I do have to emphasize, it's, if you have a habit that you're either trying to set up or undo, it's not an overnight thing. And if you're trying to change things to be more efficient, it's not an overnight thing. You have to be willing to invest in sort of the front end of things to kind of explore, evaluate, give it a chance to see if it makes sense. And it's sort of this harmonic convergence. I don't know if that's the right term, but where you want to give it enough time to see if it makes sense, but you don't want to take too much time and get stuck in something that's not working for you, but not throw in the towel because it's too challenging for your own status quo or your own habit. So keeping this really open mind as far as, okay, this system doesn't work for me any longer. I need a new way of doing things because it's eating up my time. I would do everything manually. For example, in my schedule, everything was manual and so much time. But then when I went to that tool, it was a total game changer.
Let's stay on Calendly for a second, or Acuity, or any kind of online scheduler. I happen to use Acuity. It's just what came by my eyes first. I've helped clients on Calendly.
Mm-hmm.
A game changer. Because it was just so hard. Do you have time next Tuesday? Oh, I do, between 10 and 2. And you're like, oh no, I have, how about 3 o'clock? No, 3 o'clock doesn't work. And then you've got these email chains. Margot Crawford is great on this. She's a productivity coach. She talks about this a lot. It's just like, make that whole scheduling thing easier. So one of the ways, if you don't have that Calendly or Acuity, one of the ways that Margot teaches is, when you're setting up something with somebody, say, I have these 3 times available. So that's one way to do it. Or the Calendly is a life changer. To get on a networking call, or to have a scheduler on your email signature, your regular email signature, it's what a life changer. Here's my calendar. Schedule anytime you like. I also like going on other people's calendars.
Yeah. And because what it is I think it's also an active service of gracious, if you will, of grace, because you can say, listen, you sit down and look at your calendar and pick a date and time that works best for you. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so it is efficient and it's respectful and it is a game changer. I will go back to an earlier point that I made. When you're setting up these new things and exploring them, that there is some front end work. So for example, and that's where I personally had to kind of wrap my head around it. I had to have my Google Calendar, right, situated and populated because it interfaces with that. Right, and there was some trial and some error, like an accidental double booking because I hadn't, properly done that. So, but once you invest in the front end of that and get it situated, it is absolutely dreamy. You're not spending, like you touched on, 5 emails back and forth with one person, let alone 10 other people.
Right. And I would usually lose the thread. And then I felt terrible not keeping up with it. The other thing I like about Acuity, Calendly, any of those schedulers is once I schedule with somebody or somebody schedules with me, it gives you that option to add it right to your calendar. So it's actually a one-step thing. Yes, add it right to my calendar. There was one person that I've scheduled with and I felt terrible. I don't know what service this person was using. but it didn't give me that option
Hmm.
to add it right to my calendar. And I kind of bailed on him twice because I guess I didn't take that second step of going over to my calendar. I just assumed I will get a confirmation. I'm taking a lot of time on Calendly. What else?
No,
What else?
no.
The
I
thing
mean,
is, it's such a huge time saver.
it's a huge time saver. And I think it's worth the FaceTime to talk about it because it really can make a difference. And we're not making any $1 million on talking
No,
about it. You know what I mean?
true.
And so there's other tools that you can do. For example, I personally like Google Drive, if you will,
Mhm,
and I create those workspaces for each one of my clients and I
mhm.
share it with them. So that way things are in the cloud. And it's not the back and forth. Which email did you send that document in? It's right there in the Google Drive. So that's another tool that I love. And, I love, actually, I call it a pandemic positive because there are a few, I try to be an optimist about things, but is having technology like Zoom, right? So the ability to be more efficient in using your time to get to know people, cultivate relationships, because my business is relationship based, and to be able to use these tools to my advantage so I can talk with more people is another amazing tool to be efficient.
So true. I mean,
Yeah.
how would we even do it these days?
Well, I mean, I haven't done the research, but I'm guessing I would be able to meet with half the people that I've been meeting, right?
I
And
wouldn't
do
even.
half the things that I've been doing.
No, in fact, today, one of my goals is to, I'll say it here loud, right? If affirmation. One of my goals is post quarantining times, I want to have kind of almost like a dual life here in Massachusetts and in Colorado, where two of my kids live. And so in service to that, I'll be going to a polka dot meeting in Denver this afternoon. And I went to one in the foothills. And so I'm going to be visiting the Colorado polka dots to build contacts out there. And that way, when I do go out there, it's on business and it's a tax write-off, and I get to have a whole new bunch of people that I can talk to.
Yeah,
So
it is.
thank you, right? So good for Zoom, yay.
Yeah, yeah. And another thing I wanted to make sure to touch on is time management. You talked a little bit about productivity and such, but one of the things I struggled with as a solopreneur, I mean, I came from a career in nonprofit, so there was certain structure to that. But the nature of my work as a fundraiser, it wasn't a typical 9 to 5 desk job. So I had a little leg up in understanding that work from home concept. But when I became a solopreneur, there was a little bit of an awakening moment because I'm like, oh, it's not just about doing the work for my clients, but how do I do the work of building and running my business? And so I went through a couple of painful moments to try to figure that out. And I realized, okay, I need to be more efficient in how I use my time. And here's another game changer for me. Every Sunday, I sit down at my calendar and I still use my day planner. I'm never giving that up. I love pen to paper, my friend. Nothing wrong with that, but it interfaces beautifully with the digital tools. When I literally will go through my week, confirm all my appointments, schedule my day. These are the hours I'm going to do my contract work. This is the hour I'm going to do my professional development. These are my meetings. These are my networking groups. And I have my whole week planned out. So when I get up Monday and hit the ground, I'm ready to go, not trying to figure out what I'm doing that day. Talk about a time waster and being inefficient, not knowing how you're going to use your work day. I don't want to work 80 hours a week. I
Right.
won't. Right. So having these tools of efficiency in place, I don't work 80 hours a week. And it's really dreamy to be able to do it this way. So of course, inevitably something will happen that kind of wasn't scheduled, right? That phone call that came in and took up an hour. But I still have that flexibility built into that planning. And it's like, okay, I didn't do my professional development today. Where can I shift it? Or, okay, can I do it next week? So that is something I would encourage everyone I speak with is if you can on the weekend, on that Sunday for me, just look at your week ahead and get yourself mapped out. And then you're not wasting time trying to figure out what you're doing in the day.
So in theory, I thought that was amazing, right? And I thought, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I live by my calendar. It was awesome. But in practice,
Mm.
I was giving, somebody would call and they would say, I don't see any time in your calendar. So I'd pop them in there. Or I would like do some busy work for a client instead of my professional development or whatever. I know I've talked about this before. I have the digital marketing mastermind group called Rise Together, which has been amazing. And one of the things that we're doing in that group on Friday mornings, we have like a planning mastermind on, Kathleen Lawson helps us with it. We're using ClickUp to organize. A lot of people use Trello, Asana, Basecamp, like all the things, but we're using ClickUp to organize our tasks and projects, looking at our calendar, making sure we're following up on any networking that we've done during the week, and helping each other with like some of the logistical things. And again, because we're solopreneurs, because we're service-based professionals, having that feedback and seeing how other people are doing things is amazing.
And that's how I learned personally and professionally, having conversations with other solopreneurs. They will share with me, hey, have you heard of this tool? Have you used this approach? Oh, you might want to check out this video. Oh, you know about this podcast. And so I'm like taking it all in and trying to figure it out. So kind of going way back to the beginning of this, right? Coming up with a system, all right? It has to be an efficient system, but I'm going to add a third piece to it. And it has to make sense for you. My thing might not work for you, Susan. Your thing might not work for me. I don't know if I would want to use a project management software app or whatever.
Right.
I'm a more manual person. So I love writing things down and thinking about things. But the intention is you still have to look for things to help you do the best, use your time to the best of advantage. And being open-minded to know it's going to be a little bit of a steep climb because it's new, but that's okay. And give it a chance. And then if it doesn't make sense, be flexible. I mean, there's that other challenge of being too rigid. Like, well, I spent the $100 on the whatever app, you know what I mean? I better stick it out because I paid for it. Hey, if it is causing more headaches than it's worth, then it's not the system. It's for you. And then to look for something else that makes sense. If that makes sense.
It does make sense. And I see how many balls. You and I have had a lot of conversations. Dennise and I talk every month about how we can help each other and amplify each other. And I see everything she's doing. And I'm like, how do you do all that? So that's amazing that you do it all on paper. But I'm not going to let you skip over the fact that you mentioned the word podcast. And I'd love to hear about your podcast.
Thank you. Yeah. So I started a podcast in October called Broadband the Podcast. I also have a companion blog that goes with it. And I launched it because of several reasons. One, I love talking with people. I have a background in radio and I recognize the value of storytelling, right? And learning from each other through stories. So I launched this podcast specifically to showcase business women, the lessons learned, a wisdom sharing, and also really spotlighting the incredible energy that's out there with women who are solopreneurs. They are leaders in their community and their work, and they're so passionate about making it work and making it happen, and so generous in sharing that knowledge. And every interview I've done so far, I've learned something. I mean, I have notes and notes and notes. And then to be able to get to know that person even more deeply is so much fun. And then as they're sharing out the podcast, people are meeting me and I'm sharing out the podcast and people are meeting them. So it's a weekly podcast. And again, you can check out my website. I have a blog about podcasting 101. So if you're interested, like, oh, I think I want to do that. Just check out my website. There's a whole bunch of information, or you can drop me an email, but it's relatively easy to create something like that. Yet there are certain things that take a certain degree of skills or knowledge, but it's a great tool to use to market your business and your brand and your expertise.
So it's so true. That's exactly why, well, a lot of people know that already. This interview that you and I are doing right now is my one commitment to content every week. Like if you have that commitment to content, and if the commitment also fills your soul, fills that need to learn, fills that need to connect, if that's what you need, then it's a win-win-win, right? And because you're collaborating, you're getting two people's resources, eyes on the
Yeah.
topic. So,
And I
so
gotta
good.
say, I'm so inspired. I don't know, maybe in 2021, I might do some Zoom sessions. I mean, this is so much fun, and what a great way to use this platform to knowledge share. It's great. So thank you.
So good. So good. So, oh my goodness, it is a day that there's a lot on the day today. I don't know about you guys, like Wednesdays seem like a learning day for me. I get to do this, and then it's going on to the next and on to the next thing. So many good things on my calendar today. And then of course at 3:00, I meet with our digital marketing mastermind and Rise Together. And that always fills my soul. People moving their business forward one step at a time and together, and talk about the power of amplification. It's been amazing. And I'm grateful for your help, Dennise, in the assistance that you give me in everything we do too. So I highly recommend people get on a call with Dennise. She's easy to find. I put her website here in the chat. It's CTD Creative. Hold on, I'm missing the E. There, and it's .co,
Correct.
not
Correct.
.com.
And I do offer a free 30-minute chit chat. And that link using Calendly is right on the website. And I also offer, if you want like a deeper dive, a deeper conversation, I do a virtual coffee chat for the cost of a coffee, $5. We can spend an hour talking more deeply about whether it's blogging, your social media, if you have an idea for a podcast, things of that nature, or this is a total, like, I don't know what the metaphor is, but it just comes out of left field. I also write grants and do grants programs for nonprofits. So if you sit on a board and you know your nonprofit needs help in finding grants, I can help with that too. But so there's
Wow.
2 options to connect with me.
So good. I used to work with a nonprofit for years and years, and man, grant writers are worth their weight in gold. And especially now, like back then, social was just a thing, but I know that what you're bringing to the table with that service is not just the grant writing, but also the background and skills that you have in social and systems, so that they can, I know right now getting a grant, you need to say how many followers you have, how many subscribers you have, you know, what kind of engagement you're having. So if anyone listening knows anyone in that nonprofit world and could benefit from the whole package that Dennise has here, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Dennise, thank you so much for spending the morning with me.
Oh, this was such a treat. Again, thank you. And for everyone who's watching, thanks for joining us today and giving me a moment to just talk a little bit about efficiency.
Awesome. Okay. Have a great day, you guys.